Okay, so everyone's got theories about why anime sometimes look like garbage, right? Oh, the studio got lazy, or they ran out of budget, or my personal favorite, the animators just don't care anymore. Well, I went down a rabbit hole researching how anime actually gets made, and guys, the real story is so much weirder than any of that. Like, there's this whole shadow system running behind every anime you've ever watched, and most fans have literally never heard of it. So today, I'm gonna break down exactly what happened with One Punch Man, and I mean the actual facts, not internet speculation, plus show you some numbers about animator wages that are gonna make you feel really uncomfortable about how much you spent on that last figure. All right, so before anyone draws a single frame, somebody's gotta pay for it. And this is where it gets interesting, because it's not who you think. So there's this thing called more money, which means they get more control and more profits. So when you see Aniplex listed before the actual animation studio, that's not alphabetical order, that's the power hierarchy. Aniplex is literally the boss, and the studio that's actually drawing everything, they're just the hired help. This system exploded after Evangelion in 1995 because, honestly, funding anime is risky as hell. Who probably couldn't draw a stick figure to save their lives, they're the ones collecting profits from all the merchandise. International licensing, mobile games, whatever. So I looked up the actual salary data for animators in Japan, and the average is about 4.7 million yen per year. That sounds like a lot until you convert it. That's $31,000. New animators. The people just starting out, usually the most passionate, dreaming of working on the next Studio Ghibli film, they make 2.7 million yen yearly. That's $18,000 in one of the most expensive cities in the world. These artists are trying to survive in Tokyo on 1,500 total per month for skilled creative work that requires years of training. A 2020 visually insane if you've never seen it. But here's the thing, he brought in a bunch of freelance animators who weren't even Madhouse employees. That's why season 1 looked so incredible. It wasn't just Madhouse being amazing, it was Natsume assembling basically an all-star team of freelancers for one project. September 2017, they announced season 2 is moving to JC. Staffed with a completely different director, Chikara Sakurai. No explanation given. Just creative decisions or whatever corporate speak they used. But then in 2019, Natsume finally talked about it at Anime Festa. And guys, this quote hit me right in the feelings. I personally, of course, wanted to do it. But that could not be done despite myself. I can't do everything I wanted to do. But I wish JC staff did way more with the show. You can hear the frustration, right? This isn't a guy who walked away from his dream project. This is someone who got pushed out and was still professional enough to wish the new team well. Here's what actually happened. JC staff primarily uses their internal staff for major roles. They're not set up to work with outside freelance directors and their personal networks. So when the project moved there, they went with their own people. It wasn't about quality or creative vision. It was about corporate structure and workflow compatibility. Fast forward to now, and season 3 has yet another director, Shinpei Nagai. His previous work? Romantic comedies like 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. Nothing wrong with rom-coms, but it's like asking someone who specializes in wedding photography to suddenly shoot an action movie. 3 seasons, 3 different directors. That should tell you everything about how this industry operates. Look, I don't want to completely trash JC, staff, or any other studio, because this isn't really their fault. The problem is systematic. Different studios are good at different things, period. Madhouse built their reputation on action sequences. They know how to make punches feel impactful, how to choreograph fights, how to use camera angles for maximum effect. JC staff, they're genuinely great at slice of life, romance, comedy. Their character acting is solid, their dialogue scenes work well, but asking them to match Madhouse's action sequences is like, okay, imagine asking Gordon Ramsay to suddenly become a sushi master. Both are amazing chefs, but completely different skill sets. When a project changes studios, all the accumulated knowledge just disappears. How does Saitama move? What makes his punches feel powerful? How do you animate his bored expression? The original team figured all that out through trial and error. The new team has to reverse engineer it from watching the finished episodes. And here's the really unfair part. New studios usually inherit the same deadlines without any of the prep time. The original studio had months or years to plan, build relationships with freelancers, figure out their workflow. The new studio gets handed the project and told, make it as good as season 1, you have 8 months, go. Since many key animators are freelancers, they don't automatically transfer between studios. Season 1's incredible animation came from Natsume's personal network of talent. When he couldn't continue, that entire network disappeared with him. One Punch Man isn't some unique tragedy. This pattern repeats constantly. Attack on Titan went from Wit Studio to MAPPA, and Twitter basically had a meltdown. The Devil is a part-timer switched studios, and let's just say season 2 was rough. Food Wars changed studios for its final season, and fans were not happy. There's this depressing pattern where beloved series get handed to studios that aren't equipped to handle them, and then everyone acts surprised when the quality drops. Production committees make decisions based on availability, cost, and scheduling, not what's best for the animation. If the original studio is busy with other projects or wants more money for season 2, the committee just finds someone else. It's like hiring contractors for your house. You don't necessarily pick the best contractor. You pick the one who's available when you need them and fits your budget. Industry reports show that many animation studios operate on razor-thin margins. They'll take on projects even when they know they can't match the previous quality because the alternative is laying off staff and potentially closing down. So when JC, staff took on One Punch Man, they probably knew they couldn't match season 1, but they needed the work, and the committee needed someone to make the anime. Nobody's the villain here, it's just a broken system. Here's what really bugs me. Anime is more popular internationally than ever before. Netflix is throwing millions at anime licenses. Crunchyroll has like 5 million subscribers, but all that money goes to the production committees, not to solving these structural problems. So what does all this mean for those of us who just want to watch good anime without getting a business degree? When you see a studio change announcement, just prepare yourself. The numbers say quality will probably drop, and it's not because anyone's incompetent. It's because the system is set up that way. Look, I love One Punch Man. Season 1 is still one of my favorite anime ever made, but understanding what happened between seasons helped me realize that getting mad at JC staff was completely missing the point. What do you think? Does this change how you look at studio changes? Let me know in the comments. And if this helped explain why your favorite anime sometimes disappoint, hit that like button so more people can understand what's really going on behind their favorite shows.